Hello everyone, welcome to News of Asha, where we discuss the latest news that's happening in the world today. Today is August 4th, 2023. Let's get into it. Former US President Donald Trump has pleaded not guilty in Washington DC court to conspiring to overturn his 2020 election defeat. During a short arraignment, he spoke softly to confirm his not guilty plea, name and age, and that he was not under the influence of any substances. He later told reporters the case was a persecution of a political opponent. His not guilty plea covered the 4 charges in his latest indictment: conspiracy to defraud the United States, conspiracy to obstruct an official proceedings, obstruction of an official proceedings, seems like the same thing, conspiracy against the rights of citizens. Mr. Trump now faces 5 upcoming trials, 3 in New York over the hush money payment, the civil trials over business practices, and alleged defamation of a woman who accused him of rape. The 4th trial will take place in Florida relating to alleged mishandling of classified documents. If you ask me, they're just trying really hard to get Trump. But we'll see how the US justice system works this out. Moving on. Chance discovery helps fight against malaria. Scientists have found a naturally occurring strain of bacteria which can help stop the transmission of malaria from mosquitoes to humans. They found it by chance after a colony of mosquitoes in one experiment did not develop the malaria parasite. The researchers say that the bacteria could be a new tool for fighting one of the world's oldest disease, which kills about 600,000 people every year. Further studies reveal that a specific strain of bacteria, TC1, which is naturally present in the environment, has stopped the development of the malaria parasite in the gut of the mosquitoes. Once it colonizes the mosquito, it lasts for the entire lifespan. Well, is this the end of the threat? Hopefully. Malaria kills about 620,000 people a year, often children under the age of 5. Vaccines have now been developed, but they are still in the early stages of being rolled out in Africa, which kind of makes you question. They managed to roll out the COVID vaccines really fast, but maybe we shouldn't be talking about this. With a strong innovation in the pipelines, it is possible to end the threat of malaria in our lifetimes. Next, ocean heat records broken with grim implications for the planet. The oceans have hit their hottest ever recorded temperature as they soak up warmth from the climate change, with dire implications for our planet's health. The average daily global sea temperature beat a 2016 record this week, according to EU's climate change service Copernicus. It reached 20.96 degrees, that's far above the average for this time of year. Oceans are vital climate regulators. They soak up heat, produce half of Earth's oxygen, and drive weather patterns. I believe they produce more than half of Earth's oxygen. As you can see, the temperatures is really on the rise. Scientists are also worried about the timing of this broken record. March should be when the ocean globals are warmest, not August or September. The fact that we are seeing the records now makes me more nervous about how much warmer the oceans may get between now and next March, says Dr. Samantha from the Copernicus Climate Change Service. Well, is this all caused by El Nino? El Nino happens when warm water rises to the surface of the west coast of South Africa, pushing up global temperatures. Another El Nino has now started, but scientists say it's still weak, meaning ocean temperatures are expected to rise further above average in the coming months. While scientists have known that the sea surface would continue to warm up because of greenhouse gas emissions, they are still investigating exactly why temperatures have surged so far above previous years. Well, if you are certain that it's because of greenhouse gas emissions, you wouldn't be investigating and be trying to solve the problem. But if you're still investigating, then it's probably not the greenhouse gas emissions, or at least that's what they want you to think. Well, we'll wait and see and we'll find out. 2 US Navy men arrested on China spying charges. Los Angeles. 2 serving members of the US Navy has been arrested on suspicion of spying for China, the Department of Justice said on Thursday, August 3rd. The men are suspected of selling secret information to Beijing that includes manuals for warships and their weapon systems, as well as blueprints for a radar system and a plan for a huge military exercise. In a press release, the Department of Justice said sailor Wei Jin-chu, who served on the amphibious assault ship the USS Essex in San Diego, had handed over dozens of documents, photos, and videos detailing the operations of ships and their systems. This included technical and mechanical manuals that dealt with weaponry of his own vessel. The 22-year-old, who's alleged to have been paid thousands of dollars for the information, faces possible life in jail if convicted. By sending this sensitive military information to an intelligence officer employed by a hostile foreign state, the defendant betrayed his sacred oath to protect our country, U.S. Attorney Martin Estrada said. Unlike the vast majority of U.S. Navy personnel who served the nation with honor, distinction, and courage, Mr. Zhao chose to corruptly sell all his colleagues and his country. Well, no offense, but I really don't think you would have expected anything different from China. They've been stealing technology from almost every part of the world, and a lot of companies are leaving China now because of mostly due to the COVID lockdowns, but intellectual property theft also is one of the main reasons that has accelerated the move of many companies out of China. So this was kind of expected, I guess. Floodwaters rise in China northwest as rains lash Heilongjiang province. Beijing, as residual rain from typhoon drifted to northeast China, Heilongjiang province on Friday, August 4th, warned of swelling rivers amid severe weather and even tornadoes as storm pounded cities, including the already waterlogged provincial capital Harbin. The Yalu River, straddling Heilongjiang and Inner Mongolia, may rise above warning levels by Friday night, state media reported. Other parts of northeast China, including Inner Mongolia, parts of Jilin province, and central and eastern areas of Liaoning province will see heavy rainfalls, China's national forecaster said. China has been hit by major floods and major rain in the past few months, and things there seem to be getting really bad, and let's all pray and hope that the people there will be able to get themselves to safety, and hopefully the loss of life can be reduced. 14 hurt in South Korea stabbing incident near Seoul. Seoul, a man in South Korean commuter town rammed his car into passersby on Thursday, August 3rd, then got out and stabbed some, wounding 14 people in the incident near the capital, Seoul, police said. The unexplained attack in Seongnam came days after a rare stabbing attack in South Korea which killed one person and wounded 3 others. Police said Thursday's assailant was arrested after apparently attacking people randomly. Media reports describe him as a man in his 20s with a delivery job and suffering from some mental health issues. Police Commissioner General Yoon Hee-kun warned South Koreans to be on guard for such attacks and urged officials to be vigilant and look out for copycat crimes. Moving on. Apple iPhone sales drop more than forecast. Revenue falls for third straight quarter. Apple announced its fiscal third quarter earnings after the bell on Thursday, reporting iPhone sales that missed analyst expectations while revenue fell 1.4% over the last year, the third straight quarter of declines. Apple stock fell as much as 2.5% in after-hours trading on Thursday following these results. Maestri said the company experienced a slight acceleration of performance in the Americas but flagged in the US because US smartphone market has been in decline for the last couple of quarters. During a call with analysts, Cook once again emphasized Apple's success in emerging markets. Revenues reached new highs in multiple countries including India and Indonesia, Cook said. The tech sector has surged this year, riding optimism on cutting-edge AI technology, the resilience on online advertising and growth in cloud services. After wrapping up July, the tech-heavy Nasdaq Composite won its 5th straight month of gains and is almost up 40% a year. Well, we'll be discussing a bit more on the economics in the next few articles. If you want to know where the economy is headed, don't watch the Fed, track the interest rate instead. Anything above 4% is bad. When the Fed raises rates, sometimes real-world interest rates fall. The 10-year US Treasury bond yield is often more important for borrowing costs. That long-term yield also has a big impact on stock valuations, especially the tech stocks. When the Federal Reserve raises interest rates, that's not actually the thing that causes borrowing costs to rise for most people. The yield on the 10-year Treasury bond is one of the is one to watch closely. That controls the cost of money for many consumers and other important things that flow from that long-term rate. Here's how the yields is linked to your mortgage rate. If you're a mortgage lender, you loan money to someone for 30 years and charge them, say, 5% annually, which is your base lending rate. Then you often turn around and sell a bunch of these mortgages as an asset to an investor. Well, most mortgage lenders do this because they want to reduce the risk on their hands. Therefore, they repackage the loans that they've given out and sell these loans as investment packages to other investors. If the 10-year treasury bond pays 4%, then investors won't want your 5% mortgage bond. They'll demand a higher return for the extra risk because they can just buy a 10-year treasury bond instead, which is safer. Well, when you expecting people to pay back their loans is obviously much higher risk than expecting the US government to pay back their obligations. Now, how this feeds through quickly to stock prices? Stock market investors value companies based on future earnings, not current profits. This is especially true for technology companies that are growing quickly but may not make much money for years. Imagine that it is expected to make 10 billion a year in 10 years' time. A tech company. Investors have to discount those future earnings to get a present-day value for that income and arrive at a more accurate valuation for the company. Why do they have to discount that? It's simply because even companies have to take loans and they have an interest rates to pay, and if the natural interest rates are higher, then you'll have to discount your current profits based on your overall projections of how much you're going to earn. The 10-year treasury bond yield is a common way to do this discounting. For example, if the 10-year yield is 2%, the present-day value of the 10 billion in future profits is worth a slightly less, and as the treasury yield gets higher, that 10 billion is suddenly worth a whole lot less in today's money. And this is often why tech stocks fall when the 10-year treasury bond spikes. Worldcoin to open its ID system for governments and private companies. Sam Altman, co-founder of tech firm Worldcoin, is extending its reach by enabling governments and private businesses to leverage its controversial iris scanning and identity verification technology, Reuters reported. Sam Altman is also the co-founder of OpenAI. The signature element of Worldcoin's identity system involves the use of iris scanning orbs, which individuals use to verify their identities. According to Sam Altman, there'll be places in the world where you could go to the company and they will have the device on hand where you can go and scan your iris and get yourself a biometric data, proof of being a human, I guess. Despite potential hurdles, Worldcoin's expansion appears to be well underway. The company raised $115 million in funding from notable venture capital investors earlier this year, indicating strong investor confidence in its goals. Regulators in France, Germany, and the United Kingdom are actively investigating the project's data collection practices and implications. Well, I can tell you the implications are most likely not going to be very good. As Worldcoin continues its quest to redefine digital identity and financial networks, several are questioning the privacy, data security, and ethical implications of such technologies. And several is not good enough. Everybody should be questioning the privacy, data security, and ethical implications of such technology. 6 asset managers file fresh SEC applications to launch Ethereum Futures ETFs in the US. This comes after the launch or the applications for a Bitcoin ETF in the US. 6 prominent asset managers have filed fresh applications to the US Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC) for the approval of an Ethereum Futures Exchange Traded Fund (ETF). The filings comes weeks after the regulator accepted spot Bitcoin ETFs applications in a span of 1 week. A source familiar with the matter told CoinDesk that there have been 10 ETF applications tracking Ethereum futures, though none have been approved so far. On the other hand, the price of the second largest cryptocurrency, Ethereum, is following Bitcoin's lead, maintaining its dominance below the 50-day exponential moving average at $1,835. Crypto futures and spot ETFs are considered a game changer for the investment purpose, as companies need not worry to store Bitcoin and Ethereum physically in the digital safekeeping. This is good news, and it won't be long before Ethereum ETFs will be approved, and more companies and more entities will be able to invest without having to worry about digital safekeeping. China emerges as Binance's key markets despite cryptocurrency trading ban. China has emerged as the biggest crypto market for major crypto exchange Binance, despite a ban on crypto trading in the country. According to a Wall Street Journal report from Wednesday, Binance users located in China traded crypto worth as much as 90 billion in a single month this year, accounting for 20% of Binance's total global volume. Crypto trading was banned by the Public Bank of China, by the People's Bank of China, China's central bank, in September 2021 over concerns related to money laundering and the possibility of evading capital controls. According to the Wall Street Journal report, there are more than 900,000 active Binance users in China, and the exchange even works with Chinese law enforcement to uncover criminal activity among the users. Binance and its CEO, Chao Zhengpeng, CZ, was sued by the US Security and Exchange Commission SEC in June, with the regulator saying Binance showing blatant disregard for the federal security laws. Well, the SEC in itself is being sued by a few companies, and we'll have to wait and see if Gary Gensler still remains as the chairman of the SEC before anything else can proceed, due to the inherent bias that Gary has towards the crypto industry, despite saying in a lecture in his own class that Ethereum is not a security. He suddenly changed his mind a few years later. So begs the question, what's actually happening in the SEC and in Gary Gensler's mind? Moving on. Is this a Bitcoin ad? Joe Biden unknowingly touts BTC in coffee mug video. Well, I'm not sure unknowingly, but let's move on. Crypto enthusiasts have lauded Joe Biden's latest social media post for its so-called accidental endorsement of Bitcoin. On August 3rd, the president tweeted a cup of Joe never tasted better, along with a video of himself drinking a coffee from a mug, but not realizing that his face on the mug has something called laser eyes. The Bitcoin and crypto community were quick to notice the design of the coffee mug, which featured his face glowing red in laser eyes, a popular addition for Bitcoin enthusiasts when designing their profile pictures. Here's a profile picture of Paris Hilton with laser eyes. Biden's post has been littered with responses from the crypto community, both delighted and amused by the obvious oversight. Joe Biden is a Bitcoin maxi now, laser eyes and everything, haters in disbelief, declared one user. I really don't think this was a mistake. I think somebody in Biden's team decided to do this and give Bitcoin a good advertisement. You could say free advertisement, even a free endorsement of the Bitcoin. Now moving on to the last news of the day. Could a Bitcoin bull run be triggered by the Fitch US credit rating downgrade? Fitch downgraded the US credit rating due to its government debt and potential challenges in handling its fiscal responsibilities. Will Bitcoin's price benefit from this decision? On August 1st, a significant event occurred within the financial world. Fitch, a reputable credit rating agency, lowered the credit rating of the United States government from a pristine AAA to a AA+. This downgrade signaled a diminished confidence in the US government's ability to handle its fiscal responsibilities effectively. Traders are now contemplating if Bitcoin's digital scarcity and censorship resistance can offer refuge from the widespread flight to safety movement instigated by the deteriorating credit score of the world's largest economy. Note that recent daily yield fluctuations appear less significant given the 5-year government note yield's consistent rise over the last 2 weeks. This can be linked to eroding investor confidence in the US debt management, prompting demand for higher yields. Apart from the Treasury's yield dynamics, a falling US dollar, the DXY, which is a gauge of the US dollar's value relative to other countries, could spell trouble. If it leads to a dwindling faith in traditional assets, investors might seek alternative store of value, potentially boosting Bitcoin's appeal and probably even gold. Well, that's it for the news for today. Thank you for coming. Please like, share and subscribe. I'll see you again tomorrow. Thank you and take care.